Why is it that you go to a facility where you sit down, bored, in pain, with your legs hurting, and whenever you've got bad posture, an old man hits you with a stick?
I think because that type of pain is just life, and Zen's all about finding a way of dealing with it. Here I am, willfully going to this place to get beat with a stick. Like, what am I doing? What is this? Do they do that? Do they suddenly shout at you?
Yeah, because you get used to being hit with a stick.
I went to an intro Zen class. I was really surprised by how fucking uncomfortable even just sitting is. We have these nice cushions, it's a very pleasant and quiet environment, and I'm thinking yoga retreats, I'm thinking rest and relaxation, but the whole time I'm struggling, and I get the sense that this is part of the program. Is that the case?
Oh, this is totally part of the program.
My impression is that it's first sitting.
There's lots of different types of Buddhist meditation.
Yeah.
And meditation more broadly. Some of them do fancy stuff. Zen meditation is literally just sitting.
Painfully.
As opposed to other ones where you're sitting and doing interesting things in your mind. No, Zen is literally just sitting. Shikantaza literally means just sitting. That's not an altered state of consciousness. That's an unaltered state of consciousness.
Yeah.
So why is just sitting so difficult? It's not that, because you're flexible enough that the...
Well, I mean, this fucking hurts. I did half lotus while I was there, because doing it for a matter of, 15, 30 minutes, that hurts.
So you can even sit in a chair, and that's totally...
Yeah, and that is something that they talked about as well. If you have joint problems, I think the funny thing is the teacher said, we want this amount of pain, not this amount of pain.
Yes, sitting full lotus hurts, especially at first, but that's not actually the reason it's so hard and painful. It's not the full lotus. Why is it so hard to sit, just to sit, literally just sitting? Why is sitting so difficult?
I think because when most of the time we're sitting, we're not just sitting, we're thinking about any number of different stuff. It's how much I want to do something other than what I'm doing now, what I'm gonna have for dinner, a conversation that I had earlier that is bothering me, or, did people just notice that I just passed gas? It's any number of other stuff. And then even, you'll be staring with your eyes open as well. That's another thing that was kind of surprising to me, is that I'm accustomed to meditating eyes closed the whole time, and I think sometimes when you're in that mode, it's easy to drift off and to think of other things and imagine other things. But here you have your eyes open, you're just staring in front of you. Other stuff will bubble up. You're like, my God, this floor is so clean. And that
floor is so interesting. This wooded floor, it's fascinating.
It's so
interesting. And I can't let myself get too interested in the floor.
Yeah,
because if I did that, I wouldn't be
sitting. Yeah. So to just sit at the exclusion of everything else is remarkably difficult. It's remarkably difficult. Zen equals pain.
Yes.
But
pain does not necessarily equal suffering.
Oh, say more.
What effect do you feel like it's had on you so far, or is having on you?
One thing that's kind of interesting is that every time I feel pain, or that I'm annoyed, or that something seems to be getting in the way of my experience with the moment, I feel like I have a recourse, where previously it was just to suffer.
Why do you just sit down and suffer?
I've found that just doing day-to-day activity stuff, the other week, I had been putting off going to buy groceries. Just groceries. It's just a regular thing that you need to do every day for weeks. I was putting together the most creative and awful meals that I could scavenge with what food scraps I had remaining. I could have bought groceries at any time. The reason I didn't was that the idea of dragging myself away out into the cold, out, where I don't have a constant source of dopamine in front of me, or the comfort of my room, was agony to me. It was agony. And I thought to myself, why? If I attain, the next income bracket, the next caliber of wealth, my family does okay. My dad's retired at 55. He still goes out and buys groceries. That's just something that you have to do as an adult. And so I think when I think about Zen equals pain, and I think about finding, and what they really like the word equanimity, and I like that word too. Finding equanimity, finding peace with that pain that is just inherent to doing stuff in life. You can turn even everyday activities like going to get groceries, going to work out, doing your laundry into agony. There's that famous quote, like the mind can make a hell of heaven or a heaven of hell. And it seems really true. And I really want to be in the making a heaven of hell category, because the reverse is so much worse.
Yeah, and if you can make a heaven out of hell, you can make heaven out of a supermarket.
Yeah, exactly.